Yokel Hero is a pretty good episode of The Golden Girls. This is the 4th episode of the 4th season. It's directed by Terry Hughes, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And we find out that Rose has been nominated for the St. Olaf Woman of the Year, and this is really exciting for her. We also have a subplot where it's very hot in the apartment. We don't do too much with this narrative, but we do have some really funny moments in the beginning where Sophia has her back to the audience, but she has her robe open in front of the fridge to cool off. And then the air conditioning repair person arrives, and he comments that the old lady next door is running through the sprinkler in her underwear. And Dorothy looks out of the window because there's not an old lady next door. And just the way she says ma when she realises it's Sophia, very funny. That for me was actually the funniest moment in the episode. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Rose, however, is not having quite a good time because she's really upset because she tried to write down all of her achievements and her accomplishments to submit to the Woman of the Year so that she could hopefully win. And she begins to feel like actually all of her achievements are worthless, and that's not the case. And the others try to make her see this and realise that actually she does have a lot to be proud of. But Dorothy and Blanche are still not convinced it might be enough for her to win. So they decide to embellish some of her achievements. For example, she saved a baby bird. They change it to say she saved a baby eagle. And there are various other things. And Rose isn't aware of this. The form gets sent off. And then 3 people from St. Olaf arrive. Kind of interesting to meet other people from St. Olaf. I thought that was rather good fun. And they are there to find out more about Rose's story. And they decide there and then that she's the winner. And the next thing we know, they're all, Dorothy, Blanche, Sophia and Rose, are heading off to St. Olaf. And it's a very long journey. And it was a really enjoyable couple of scenes. And I had a lot of fun with that. There are a lot of jokes at the expense of the people of St. Olaf. And it's good fun. I rather enjoyed it. I thought it was really entertaining. And the guilt does get the better of Dorothy and Blanche. And they do tell Rose what they did, and Rose realises then that she can't accept this award because she hasn't earned it. And I like that. I think that's really honourable, very respectful, definitely the right attitude to have. And I will say the next scene was really abrupt. Just all of a sudden we're back at the house, and I don't necessarily think we needed to know too much about what happened immediately after, but it just felt really sudden and really abrupt, and I didn't like that. It was a bit jarring. But that's not to say the final scene isn't great. We have some scene that's focusing on a character called Harry, and honestly, it just felt really forced and unnecessary. So the final scene wasn't great, but the final few moments were. Because we find out, as Rose finds out, and she immediately forgave the others. Immediately, as in, that's the next thing we see. Which is also why it maybe felt a little bit rushed, and we could have used that time, rather than focusing on Harry, to focus on Rose and how she was feeling. But nevertheless, she forgives them, and she gets a letter in the mail. Not just a letter, she gets the award. It turns out that because of her honesty and how she handled the situation once she knew the truth, that qualified her for Woman of the Year. Also, the other candidate had a skeleton in her closet, which was a literal skeleton, the skeleton of her husband. So I was going to say that's funny. That sounds a bit callous, but certainly everything made a lot of sense, and it was really entertaining. And it was nice to see Rose receiving the recognition that she deserves, because she's genuinely a good, kind, caring person, and she should be proud of her achievements and proud of who she is. And it was just really sweet and really lovely. Personal highlights would have to be just the entire journey to St. Olaf. I thought that was very well written, very well done. The 3 people who come over to the house to visit, and Dorothy's reaction when she realises it's funny, it entertained me. The reaction when she realised Sophia was running through the sprinkles. I think I'm laughing at it more now than I did at the time. I'm going to enjoy that one for the rest of the day, I think. Really solid episode. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Yokel Hero is a really great episode of The Golden Girls.